And it's not about victim blaming because let's just be real. Jesse Smollett was a victim until he wasn't. Carly Russell was a victim until she wasn't. So I think people overlook that a great amount of the skepticism that she faced is because it's hoax season out here. Having had a chance to kind of step back for a moment and try to digest all of the things surrounding the Robash incident and the BRICKGATE controversy, I wanted to try and apply a little bit of critical thinking to the situation if possible. So, first of all, I feel like any chance to jump on a bandwagon and throw black men under the bus for blame of something else is wrong. I don't think that the entirety of the black men population, black male population, should be held accountable for personal decisions being made by three or four individuals who have their own moral code and their own values that cause them to make whatever decision they made. I don't think that shaming someone for deciding to protect themselves because maybe they felt they were in danger, it's not for us on the outside who weren't there to now all of a sudden say, oh, you needed to do this or do that or do the other. You don't know how they were. And if you were in the situation yourself, I know it's great to say you're going to be Captain America or Mrs. Marvel, but you ain't there. You don't know what you're going to do until you're in it. Now, did things with the situation not add up? Absolutely. And it's not about victim blaming because let's just be real. Jesse Smollett was a victim until he wasn't. Carly Russell was a victim until she wasn't. So I think people overlooked that a great amount of the skepticism that she faced is because it's hoax season out here. So people are going to naturally be skeptical when they don't know all the details. That's why it's best, and I saw this echoed in many of the comments and threads, that you need to wait for all the facts to come out before you jump to conclusions. Take your emotion off the table. Let's just apply logic and see what's going on before we start throwing back a blame everywhere else when you have no idea if what's really happening is a thing. Now, people got on there saying, okay, well, you're going on her page, digging up past things or looking up at why are you surprised by that? We live in a society now where hoaxes are seem to be the flavor of the week. People are skeptical about everything and it gets conflated into you got a problem and victim blaming when it's not really always that. There are some people out there like that. I will give you that. But the vast majority I would say are just skeptical because they just don't know what to believe. Half of the posts you see on social media are fake anyway. People aren't living this lifestyle. They're just portraying an image. Now, keeping that in mind, my point is if you're in an accident or an incident, something occurs violently, to have the wherewithal to take out a phone and start recording a video, not only to record a video to say what happened, but you got time to pause and turn around and yell at people, bystanders, and talk about how they ain't shit because they didn't help you out, but you're supposed to be in excruciating pain after getting hit upside the head. Your first priority is getting law enforcement and help, not getting on social media making a scene. But again, like as I said at the top, maybe I'm old school and I'm not on social media like that to be doing all that. But my mindset will be focusing on getting myself taken care of and treated for the injuries I sustain, not lambasting people who are around me who happen to maybe see what happened. Because I want to make a point about black men not being shit. Which again, if you have the presence of mind to make a political statement in the midst of a time of tragedy, a time of trauma, huh? You got to ask questions. Again, the math ain't mathing. And ultimately, the question comes down to this social contract issue with people intervening in dangerous situations. Last time I checked, there are a great many incidents that occur on a daily basis, and I don't see people on the corner with an S on their chest jumping in the middle of the fray trying to prevent other people from getting hurt. And I'm saying that to say I don't shame them. I don't look at another person and say to them, I expect you to put yourself in harm's way for somebody else. Each person, each of us has to make our own decision with respect to how what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. And if someone decides that they don't feel it's safe enough for them to take action, then they shouldn't be shamed for that. Because there have been plenty of occasions where people have intervened and ended up getting themselves hurt or losing their lives in the process. No parent raises their child saying you should depend on the kindness of others to come to your aid when you're on the streets. As a matter of fact, the conversation is the opposite. It talks about stranger danger, where people are encouraged to be skeptical of anybody doing anything for you on the street because they don't know you and you can't trust them. So to imply that somehow there's an agreement somewhere that says that everybody has to protect everybody else is ridiculous. People, more times than not, have a tendency of minding their own business when they're out here in the street. If you out here looking for trouble, looking for drama, trying to be in the middle of every goddamn thing, then you're gonna bring a whole lot of pain and headache on your way. And that's what you want. That's what you want. Go ahead, be you. But don't get mad with the rest of us who decide that we're going to be selective about where we put our finger in, get ourselves involved in, because we have people to take care of behind us. We have families that we have to protect and not protect everybody else necessarily. I'm not saying that people should stand by and watch a woman get bashed. I would never say that, and never have said that. What I'm saying is people are individuals, they make their own decisions. I can't blame you for making a decision in a moment that I wasn't a part of. Because on the hindsight being what it is, on the outside looking in, I could say, yeah, you should have done X, Y, and Z. But until you're standing in the moment, you don't know what you can or cannot do. Even as a police officer, I mean, my background is in law enforcement, so I have some experience in that area. You're trained to make sure even when you put yourself in a harrowing position, you put yourself in the best position possible so that you can survive the incident. There's no rule in the police handbook that says go running into danger with your arms flailing and put yourself in front of. No, you take tactical moves and make adjustments to make sure that you can make the best decisions and make the best choices to get the best angles to do what you need to do as a law enforcement profession. It's not about putting your chest in front of somebody trying like you're Superman. But that seems to be the feeling that I was getting from reading all the comments, is that people are being chastised for making life decisions. And at least if you don't believe they were life decisions, the people involved may have felt that way. So again, it's easy for all of us to come back after the fact Monday morning quarterback and say, "Oh, well, you could have done that different." But couldn't that be said about anything and everybody? Haven't you made decisions in your life that somebody could look back and say you should have done X, Y, and Z? But what you gonna say to them? In the moment that you were there, you made the best decision possible with the information you had. I would say the same for these guys here. This whole incident only furthers the divide that is between black men and black women. The bigger issue is violence against women is uncalled for and unacceptable. But taking this incident and now saying this is another nail in the coffin for the black man is just insulting. And we don't see the bigger picture that these incidences, while tragic, don't necessarily reflect the entirety of the black community and how we are with each other. It should not reflect that. And using it as a soapbox to try to make a point to say that black men ain't shit again, it's just tiring. It's tiring, and I think we can do better than that if having better conversations about trying to figure out solutions rather than just keep pointing the finger. And here we are again doing the same thing we always do. We get emotional, we get upset, we get triggered, and we start pointing fingers. It's everybody else's fault. So it's always that side, that black woman's fault, my black man's fault. It ain't never both our fault. They never think of, well, I got stuff wrong with me, you got stuff wrong with you. Let's come together, work it out, and then get and move forward. Now it's my job to highlight your wrongs, highlight where you fell short, and make you feel like crap on purpose. It's my point to disgrace your image more than it already is based on other people outside of the communities doing. It's my job to continue that. And hence it's your job to do the same for against black men. And I feel like we need to just cut that stuff out. It's just ridiculous. When are we going to stop doing that to ourselves and expect more? But with all this arguing back and forth about who should have fought, who didn't fight, black men this, white black women that, it's not moving the needle in the right direction. There comes a time when we have to stop focusing on our emotions and have critical thinking and just take logical conversations rather than getting into a back and forth, your fault, my fault. There's a level of maturity that's required to move the needle in the right direction. And I believe that we can have that. I believe we have that. I believe there are people out there that have that. They might be in the minority, unfortunately, but they exist. And I would encourage those voices to step up and speak up, because right now, all we're drowning out with is a bunch of noise from people that only want to further the divide, who only want to continue with the chaos and keep us at odds, which doesn't help anyone. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Till next time, be well.